So I just got this comment, or more like a question. What if I made a contract to my higher self and to the higher self of the one I love so that we could be together in spiritual world and not incarnate here again? Now, it's a great question, but I would go with a few parts. One is the idea that you and the person you love would like to live together, not on Earth anymore, not come back here, but find a place somewhere outside the duality where you can be together. That's one. Two, somehow you're involving the aspects of yourself and another person, and they're different. That meaning you're talking about higher self. You, where you are right now, and the higher self of you are two different beings. It's basically right now, if you would, let's say, think up of like a little fantasy. Oh, me and my loved one together on a beach having fun, and here's a little blanket and whipped cream and strawberries and nice sunny day, and we're just gonna have fun and enjoy ourselves. And you just spin that for a few minutes of what could you possibly do and everything else. That alone is with a thought and intention, you already create an aspect of yourself who is with an aspect of your loved one already living. They're currently living and they will keep on living until you choose to sort of uncreate the fantasy or stop that world. But you put the thought out there and all of a sudden you create the little sub-reality or a little place where two aspects, you and your loved one, will be living until you choose to stop that process. But for that aspect, who you just created, you would be a higher self. You would be, oh, it's another me, the one that knows more, the one that created me. It has more awareness and everything else. That aspect that you created right now would be living in a fantasy, wouldn't have just as much knowledge as you do, or would it be right here, right now, present, not giving a damn about entities or past lives or anything else, but just right here, me and my loved one, that's all I need. It really depends how deep we would go into our thoughts. So looking at our higher selves and, oh, I want to talk to my higher self and like connect with them and everything else, is just like another you who, let's say as a consciousness, has a certain amount of information, but chooses to create like a point of view or awareness of itself, like me, for example, like, oh, I would like another me to just explore and do that, or what if, and you fantasize, you think, you create, but there can be tons of sub-realities or tons of little aspects of ourselves running around. And we would have to track it down, like, okay, well, how many of those sister brother parts of ourselves are there, and who's the parent, and where does it all go to? So when you want to live with your loved one, you have to look at me and them from a current perspective, the person I know right now, because higher self will be a little bit different. Do you talk to your higher self? Do they communicate to you? Do they help you or not because they're busy with their own lives? When you look at I with like my higher self and the love, like the higher self of my loved one being together in a spiritual world, you're already picking two aspects of you and that person together. But all of a sudden, like they're not the one you know right now. Like, yeah, it's connected, it's just related, but they're different. They have lives. So you have to like, hey, present me and that person right now, but without the physical case or the case that we got here on Earth or in the physical universe, without being traumatized, without any agreements, entities, and attachments and weird things that keep us limited. If we just drop everything that really messes us up, but the person we know, the essence, who they are, they can have different looks, they can have different lifestyle, but the essence of the values, the how they look at life and everything else will be the same. You don't need any contracts to be together. It's like, would you like to go on a trip with me? Yeah, let's go do that. No one needs to pull out a paper and sign something to do that. It's just mutual agreement. Like, would you want to do something? Yeah, and that's it. So you have more like their consent, or you want to go and do stuff with them because you're enjoying it, not because, hey, I have a scheme, so how about you sign this paper for me? Like, they don't have to do that. You simply like, hey, I would like to be with you. So in this sort of concept, no need for making contracts or big old agreements. It's just like a simple decision agreement. Like if you want to talk with a person, but it's simply like an out of the head is enough. and no need to call for the higher aspects because they're different than you. It has more knowledge, maybe. It has different point of views, but it also has life. It's not even here in the physical universe. It's not stuck or anything. They have their own interests. And of course, we can talk to them, but no need to go back to them. No need to merge unless you want to. People like being individual. People like being different. You wouldn't want to blend with another you who has a different lifetime or, like, let's say, lifestyle, different values, different perspectives. And all of a sudden, everything you've built here, everything you have experienced would blend in with another massive you who is pretty much a bit different. And then you're like, well, I don't like the way I am right now. And you want to go away. So there's a lot of those like aspects. Basically, the best way that I would approach to handle this is, let's say there's a person that I love and I want to be with them. And when life on earth ends, I still would like to continue my journey with them in another place, but without this case, without any limitations. How would I do that? I know the essence of the being. Like, I would not have to drag them around with me like, hey, you right now on earth, you're going to go with me after we die. You and me together forever. Like, you don't have to force them. You don't have to make them do stuff because that person might have other ideas for what they want to do. But at the same time, you as a consciousness, you're not limited with one body, one aspect of yourself. You have plenty, same being. If that being that you are in love with, or that you would like to be with, or that you like, or any kind of relationship you have with another person, if you want to be with them after this life, knowing their essence, who they are, how they behave, how they act, how they feel, their values and everything else, you connect with that, you define it for yourself, and it's like, yeah, I know this is exactly that. And so once you have a definition, you think of a place where you would like to be. Again, it's like writing a story or simply thinking of a place you would like to go to for a holiday. And you might have it planned out, or you might have a rough idea, and that's all you need. A specific, let's say, location or a scenery that you like, that makes you feel safe. And you can even like put a rule like, hey, no one can go there. No one can access or see that place. It's just for me and that person. Only we can access that place. It makes it safe. No one else can get in your space. No one else can interrupt unless you want that. And of course, create it outside of the duality. No good and bad, right and wrong. No good guys, bad guys trying to find out who's going to win or whatever. So you're just like already creating it like, hey, it's just going to be us chilling and doing what we like and, whatever you take from there on. So having this idea, let's say, I love nature. So for me, it's always like, like forest and like grass and mountains and rivers and all that stuff. Like, like, cool, that's my concept. Others like would like a beach, others would like a city. But when you are creating your own realm, your own place, it is infinite, it is limitless. You might right now think of a little scenery in that place, and that's fine. But at any point in time, you can extend that whole realm and create like castles and medieval kind of style, or maybe more futuristic, or whatever fits your values and what you like. So going with that and simply looking at the essence of another person, and you're just basically connecting to the consciousness and the essence of a being that you know. You're not limiting that person and the being by, I want to live with you and you're going to go with me. It's more like, hey, it is so easy for you to create another aspect of yourself where you're going to be loved, you're going to get the kindness, and we have a great relationship, and I would like to continue on living with you in another place. And simply like, I am looking at this perspective because there are people who are in a relationship right now and they're happy somewhat, or maybe they're truly happy, but after this life ends, they might not want to do the same thing. They might not want to hang on to you and do everything with you just because you want it. They have their own plans or things they might want to do. Maybe they're pretty much like, been under control. Maybe they've been too down on a leash and they kind of want to go fool around, have their own fun. So it is okay to let them go do their thing, because as a consciousness, we can have billions of aspects of ourselves who can go and explore the universe and do all kinds of things. But at the same time, you're not left hanging, because you can connect to an aspect of them with the essence that you know and the being that you like and still have a part of them, maybe not exactly the same aspect that you have met here, but the essence of who they are truly. Like if you would meet me in an out-of-body experience, you would know I'm pretty much the same there. Maybe I look different, but the beingness, the values and everything else will be the same. And so you can have like another part of me there with you. Like right now, if like, oh, well, having a relationship with Aquila, even though I want to, here is kind of impossible, or there's like a lot of shit going around where I could not do it. But, you know, like I've got a few meals where people are like, hey, I would love to have a relationship with you. I'm like, okay, well, here it is. Like here on Earth, I already have a thing I'm working on. So, you know, I'm not like available. But for others, you know, like, hey, look up, you know, another part of me, another part of my consciousness, go pick it up, have fun. Like, I don't care. So I would just go from that perspective. No need to make a contract, no need to make like big old agreements or anything. Just connect to their essence, because you know what, like how you feel around that person. How do you feel? What do you think? The values and everything else, the essence, the energy, you focus on that aspect, you focus on the consciousness of the person, and you're literally, you can ask or simply like find them with your like consciousness, your thoughts, like, hey, another part of you that fits like my scenery and the thing I want to do, I would like you to come with me, join me on my journey and do that thing. And even if you don't want to find them or talk to them or ask for their thing, you can simply create the scenery and add that person in there. It's basically like creating a like game where you allow your friend to join, and your friend will join the moment you like create a place and like they have a little password to connect and stuff. It's pretty much like easy for me to say that, but again, it's all up to how you define things. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't look at the higher selves, because they're different aspects. It's not the you know right now. It's a whole different beingness. So that's how I would go about the subject. Hopefully it answers your question. But hey, if it was up to you and you would have a loved one that you would like to meet and be with after Earth, how would you go about it? Leave that in the comments and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.